Paris has once again become a silent witness to one of the most confusing and emotional moments in the world of international entertainment. That night, thousands of cameras were spinning and the spotlight was directed at just one figure, Kim Taehyung, better known as BTS's V. But behind the cheers and applause, a shocking statement from Jungkook suddenly created a wave of unease among ARMY and industry observers. "I'm proud, but..." This sentence, which sounds light on the surface, actually harbors a deep, enigmatic layer of emotion and opens a gap to something bigger is happening. What exactly does Jungkook mean? Is this a sign of the invisible tension behind the skyrocketing popularity? Or is it just a belated confession from the deepest of hearts? The world's attention is indeed being directed to Taehyung, who managed to steal the spotlight in a prestigious fashion event in Paris. Her appearance in an elegant cream-colored suit with a masculine aura a classic made hundreds of photographers from different countries seem unblinking. He not only appeared as a guest star, but almost became the heart of the event. In fact, the famous French designer once stated that Taehyung is a figure with a visual aesthetic that is not defined by any culture. He is global. This sentence is not just an empty compliment, because if observed, the aura brought by Taehyung on the international stage this time is much different. More assertive, calmer, more mature, as if carrying a hidden message that not everyone can read with ordinary eyes. But shortly after that spotlight, Jungkook's statement emerged in an exclusive interview that immediately sparked a cyber reaction. "I'm proud, but..." Jungkook said with a dreamy look, followed by a long pause and a faint smile. None of the reporters dared to cut in, because his intonation was not like the pleasantries they usually hear from idols. It's the voice of someone holding something, either pride, worry, or both simultaneously. As questions about the statement began pouring in on forums and social media, thousands of soldiers began searching on their own. Why did Jungkook choose the word, but after expressing pride? Is there anything that is not publicly visible related to Taehyung's presence in Paris? Or is it related to the personal relationship between the two that has been so strong and has become the hope of many fans? Many forget that the relationship between Jungkook and Taehyung is not just a relationship between boy group members. They share time, stories, even growth from their teens. From grueling rehearsal sessions, stressful stages, to silent nights when the only entertainers are each other's presence. Therefore, when Taehyung stands alone on the world stage, with no Jungkook by his side, an empty space becomes apparent, felt by those who are sensitive, but ignored by media that focus too much on glamour. Jungkook's but seems to be a small window that opens up a bigger possibility, that the success of one side can cause anxiety in the other. Not envy, not rivalry, but a kind of loss of roles, loss of the common space that they used to consider the property of both. Jungkook may be proud that his best friend and brother-in-arms managed to steal the world's attention, but at the same time, he may feel left behind. Not career ally, but emotionally. The world has brought Taehyung to such a high place, and the question is the place still spacious enough for two people? In the same interview, Jungkook mentioned that he also received an invitation to the event, but chose not to attend because he was preparing something. This sentence sparked new speculation. Is it his solo project that will be released soon? Or are there other reasons that are more personal and that he does not want to reveal directly? In fact, on the same night Taehyung stood on the Paris red carpet, Jungkook posted a photo on his personal Instagram with a one-word caption, "Thinking." No explanation, no context. Just a dark photo with a faint light and a shadow of a person standing alone under a street lamp. The symbolism of the post further adds to the puzzle. What was Jungkook really thinking? The difference between the two, which had been seen harmoniously, slowly began to show contrasts. Taehyung is now often seen in the midst of the fashion elite community, while Jungkook is even deeper into the world of music. On several occasions, Jungkook even mentioned that he wanted to create a truly personal work, which does not go with the flow of trends and does not depend on instant popularity. Is that some kind of allusion to the fashion atmosphere that Taehyung is now pursuing? Or is it just the difference in vision that will lead the two to different paths? To be sure, the ARMY is now in a complicated position. It wants to support both without having to take sides. But the media, as always, began to provoke conflict. Clickbait headlines started popping up. Jungkook jealous? Taehyung drove himself? BTS cracks slowly? In fact, what happens may be much more complex than just competition or jealousy, that a source close to the agency had given a leak that the two artists are actually still communicating frequently. In fact, before Taehyung's departure to Paris, they had dinner together in a fairly emotional atmosphere. According to the source, the evening's chat was not just about work plans, but about BTS's future, about each other's hopes, and about the fears they can't share with the public. Jungkook was said to have shed tears when he said that he wanted BTS to stay together, but also wanted each member to feel free to be themselves. The sentence, if it is associated with a statement, "I am proud," but can be an important link, because in pride, sometimes stored the fear of loss. When someone we love grows up, sometimes we feel the distance is getting longer. And Jungkook, despite being known as a strong and independent person, is actually a figure who is very emotionally dependent on those he considers family. Old footage from BTS early years also reinforces this narrative. In one of the behind-the-scenes videos, Jungkook once said to Taehyung, "If one day you become famous alone, don't forget to take me too." It was said in jest, but now it feels like an accidental prophecy. Taehyung was now completely standing on the stage alone, and Jungkook, no matter where he was, could only say, "I'm proud," but the question now is, where will this relationship lead? Will it be the beginning of a silent split within BTS? Or is this precisely the phase they have to go through to find a new form of their bond? The public may not get the answer anytime soon. But one thing is certain, the laconic statement has shaken the emotional foundations of the fans. Those who believed that Taehyung and Jungkook's friendship would never change must now accept that, even in the deepest of friendships, change is inevitable. However, after widespread speculation among the public and Army Global, it is necessary to emphasize that the information circulating regarding Jungkook's statement, "I'm proud," but as well as the accompanying narrative is not true and is not based on official facts. All reports linking the statement to possible tensions, divisions, or negative emotional feelings between Taehyung and Jungkook turned out to be the result of overinterpretation and sensationalism from irresponsible parties. Clarification began to emerge when Big Hit Music, as the agency that oversees BTS, gave an official statement through internal communication channels, stating that no such statement had ever been said by Jungkook in any interview related to Taehyung's performance in Paris. In fact, after a thorough search of all of Jungkook's recent public interviews and live broadcasts, there was no finding of the phrase, "I'm proud," but, as quoted by many speculative media outlets, further bolstering the clarification was Jungkook's latest post on his personal social platform, in which he clearly expressed his pride and appreciation for Taehyung's performance in Paris. In the post, Jungkook wrote, "So proud to see Taehyung in Paris. His visuals, charisma, and aura are amazing. Proud to be part of the same family." There was no sign of hesitation, let alone disappointment, as alleged by various previous rumors.in addition, the internal source mentioned in the previous news, which supposedly leaked about the emotional dinner between Jungkook and Taehyung, also could not be verified. There is no evidence to support the claim that there were emotional discussions or tears as depicted. Even some trusted fan sites who usually follow the personal schedules of BTS members also confirmed that no such meeting was recorded in the near future ahead of Taehyung's departure to Paris. Furthermore, the narrative that Jungkook feels left behind for not participating in the Paris fashion show is clearly a forced interpretation. It is known that Jungkook is busy with some private rehearsals and music preparation schedules that are not related to public events. Jungkook had previously said that he was enjoying a productive time in the studio exploring new directions in music. This has nothing to do with your presence or absence in the fashion world. Meanwhile, Taehyung himself has also shown an open attitude towards all BTS members during his solo journey. In an interview with French media, he mentioned that despite undergoing individual promotions, his heart is still with the other members, especially Jungkook, who he has considered as his younger brother and best friend since his debut. "We grew up together. I know where we're going now, but we've always supported each other." Jungkook knows that. Taehyung said in the interview, The facts clearly show that there is no hidden conflict, no emotional awkwardness, and no alarming distance between Taehyung and Jungkook, as previously reported. Their relationship is still strong, healthy, and supportive of each other, as they have shown for more than a decade as part of BTS. Thus, the news that has been circulating about the phrase, "I'm proud, but," and all the emotional speculation and conflict associated with it are untrue, unverified, and speculative in nature. This is an example of how information manipulation and overinterpretation can damage public perception and cause unnecessary unrest among fans. The public, especially the army, is urged to be wiser in responding to this kind of information. It is very important to check the authenticity of news sources, search for the truth through official channels such as statements from agencies, and not easily get carried away by emotional narratives that do not have a solid foundation. Speculation, while attractive, is not a fact. And in this fast-paced world, caution in absorbing information becomes an absolute must.